everyone. This is Perhaps It's You. Yes, Samantha, we're starting right now.
I was unprepared.
And we just want to give Matt credit as our audio engineer.
Yes. Matt can do things that we can't, like turn a knob.
Turn a knob. Our delicate feminine hands can't handle the rough surfaces of knobs.
One thing goes wrong. We're recording in person, and as longtime listeners of the show will know, we don't fucking know how to work our own audio equipment that we've had since the second day of this podcast. So we turn it on. My mic isn't working.
We literally were just like, huh.
We tried nothing. We just stared at it like literally have no idea what to do. Matt comes in the room, turns one knob, and it works. So
I just feel like that dancing frog where I'll have a technical problem. I will not be able to figure it out. And then I'll get Mac and it'll be fine. But he did actually do something this time.
Yeah, he turned a knob. The problem is that we're not used to the knobs on our mixer actually doing anything.
That for years they were doing nothing.
We were just bypassing our mixer.
Hundreds of dollars on this piece of equipment. After recording our first episode at the library, we were like, okay, obviously we were born for greatness. This podcast is going straight in at number 1 on iTunes. We need to purchase the finest equipment available. Let's get on the Amazon and
do zero research, basically, and buy
Okay, I would not call watching 2.5 YouTube videos zero research. Look, was our sound back in the day great? It was.
Somehow it was. And look, we were turning those knobs. So in our defense, we thought they were doing something.
They were doing literally nothing.
They were doing nothing.
We have to have another thing now, which I'm still confused. I have no idea what that thing does.
We have a separate little box with its
box.
own knobs. Mac has it set up and it works great, but now the knobs actually do stuff, and so
we were like, huh.
The first thing that comes to our mind is not turn a knob, because why would that do anything?
Okay. First of all, this is an official Unsolved Mysteries rewatch podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah.
My name is Liz.
My name is Samantha.
There's this man here named Mac. He's our live-in IT person and sound engineer. We make him leave the room.
We've turned the heat off.
We've turned the heat on the cold house, and he never complains once. It's kind of incredible. He
doesn't even laugh at us when he has to do something as simple as just turn a knob.
Yeah.
Basically, like, did you turn it on?
If the situation was reversed and he had a podcast about, I don't know, Highlander, and I had to leave the room in the cold and be quiet while he recorded his Highlander podcast, I would be so pissed. I can't even tell you. I cannot even tell you how I'd be like, oh my God, Highlander's ruining my life. And I'd be like, Liz, what were you going to do? I don't know, but I would need the freedom to walk around and be loud during this hour and a half. Hilarious. Okay, so we're here today. We are recording in person for once because we needed to do a stack time.
Yes. Did you just call it a stack time?
Maybe.
I love that. Snack time is now stack time.
It's stack. Stack is a snack time. That's what
Snacks
it is.
with stack.
Snacks with stack. Oh my God, why were we even calling it the whole time?
Let's just change this whole podcast.
It would have made more sense that we have a snack time.
If we called it.
Thing that makes no sense, really. We just wanted to eat things.
Now we have a segment.
Yeah,
called
exactly.
Snacks with Stack.
Yes. The best segment that there is. And it's partly because listener Leilani dropped off some snacks for us while in town, I think from Canada.
Thank you.
I mean, so nice.
Thank you to cheesies in front of me. So.
Yeah. So Mac and I already ate our share of the cheesies. Sorry, Samantha. Fortunately, there were 3 bags, so it divided very well.
Nice.
Thank you to listeners who send snacks so we can have our Snacks with Stack segment. Thank you to our patrons that allow us to buy snacks, because that also happened today.
Yep.
So these are from Leilani. We have Super Cola.
Oh, okay.
And we also have, I think you'll be into this, Super Lemon.
Okay, I heard a rumor
hard candy.
that Leilani was bringing us some super sour candy from Japan. So that must be what this is. I don't know if the cola is sour, but
look at this guy's face at how sour it is.
I hope that's gonna be my face after I eat
He's like
this.
screaming. And he says "Oh Noble" on it.
I think
one person is
Noble
saying
must be the brand.
one is saying "Oh juicy" and one person is saying "Oh noble." Oh, you're right. That is the brand. Okay.
I'm assuming that the cola is, we need to enjoy this now because there's probably gonna be no cold Coke candy in hell.
There's no super colas in hell. Okay.
Where we're going. Okay.
Here's the lemon one.
I'm gonna try the cola first because I don't want the lemon to ruin my taste buds.
Oh, you're smart. I'll do that as well.
It is sour.
Okay, I can't even get this out of the room. I'm so useless today.
Okay. It's very sour. I was not expecting that from a cola candy.
Oh, okay. All right. I kind of hate it.
Once you get through the sour flavor, it does taste like cola. It tastes like flat Coke.
Yeah, no thanks. I've given this literally one lick, not even put it in my mouth, and I'm putting it back in the... That will be for Samantha. Here you go. Here's your bag of...
I like these.
Of course you do. You're a sour fiend.
Yeah. No, and they're very sour. It's not a Warhead level sour, but it's close. These are good.
No.
I feel like the lemon is gonna blow our lids off. If the cola was really sour, this lemon's probably gonna be super sour.
Super lemon. Oh my god.
Liz popped it in her mouth. I think that was a bad decision.
That was really sour.
All right.
Ah.
Does it hurt your mouth?
Ah.
Liz had to take it out.
That's really sour.
I just put it in my mouth. Do you like this play-by-play?
Yeah. Just all mouth noises. Welcome to Mouth Noises, the podcast. It's like you're right here with us, enjoying really sour candy.
Yeah, the lemon is really sour, but I almost feel like the cola was more sour.
I wonder if that is the surprise or the sourness,
Maybe.
you know?
The lemon sour also wore off really fast. But it is good.
Ugh.
These are good. Noble, sour lemon, and super cola. I'm gonna give this a solid 4.5 out of 5 hours.
Wow.
Those are good.
I'm giving those not applicable. Not for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I respect the sourness. I respect the craftsmanship. But I am not the intended audience of that treat.
I love a sour candy.
I also picked up a few other items for us. So this is a new thing from Dunkin' Donuts that I saw at Walgreens. They made a box of chocolates.
Ooh.
But in their little donut box.
Okay.
These are the flavors: Boston cream, brownie batter, and chocolate cream. And they're supposed to taste like the donuts.
Okay, I'm already really into this.
So I was like, yeah, we will be trying that. Thank you. See, this is the great part about Snacks with Stack. It's the excuse to buy these novelty items.
Random snacks.
I believe this is a new holiday item, even though it doesn't really have anything wintry on it. Okay, which flavor would you like to try first?
Boston cream pie.
Yeah, same. That's the one that is most intriguing. I'm assuming chocolate cream just tastes like any normal... Okay, you don't get as many chocolates as the box would lead you to believe.
They're in a separate bag inside the box.
Yeah.
Which is unnecessary because they're individually wrapped.
Yeah, that's very unnecessary. I feel slightly scammed.
Okay, these are super cute.
They look like a little donut, sort of.
This tastes like a Cadbury cream egg.
Yeah. It definitely has that, cheap chocolate taste. It's not bad. It's not special.
Yeah. Just a meh for me.
Okay, do you want to try another one?
I'll try the brownie.
Okay. Brownie batter. I'm still dying.
Maybe our last episode, folks.
Yeah. Liz licked a sour candy and died.
Is it cream inside the brownie?
Yeah, it just tastes like a cheap chocolate. There's really nothing special about this. The packaging is very cute. If you know someone that really likes Dunkin' Donuts, you know those people. They're obsessed with Dunkin' Donuts coffee and stuff. This would be a cute little gift, but you don't need to try it.
But yeah, I'm gonna take a bite out. We should have saved the sour candy for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really nothing special about this brownie one.
Nothing special. This is entirely a packaging.
This brownie one would be better if it was dark chocolate on the outside.
It'd be better if it tasted like brownie.
Well, also that.
I'm not even going to bother with the chocolate cream right now. I think we know that.
The chocolate cream's going to taste exactly like the Boston cream pie. I guarantee it.
Okay, the other items that we have. I couldn't remember if they had this last year. This is a Kit Kat gingerbread cookie.
Hell yeah.
Which, if we did try this last year, it must have been good because I haven't seen any of these floating around my house. So that means we ate them all. If we did try this before.
I don't recall a gingerbread
I don't either.
Kit Kat. I feel like this might be new.
Because if you're wondering what happens to the novelty Kit Kats we don't like, they absolutely go in this bucket for trick-or-treaters.
There's a,
Which is why
a
it's
pumpkin
sitting,
bucket in front of us.
sitting right here.
And I can confirm there's a bunch of Kit Kats in the bottom of this. Also, a little skeleton man.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, if you're one of our super duper patrons, you may have recently gotten our reward that included a skeleton parachuter
obviously, BD Cooper.
labeled DB Cooper 2022. And we had a couple that were, not up to snuff. That went out
Quality control.
that went out to the trick-or-treaters. Yeah,
Nice.
Okay, let's see how we feel about
gingerbread
this.
cookie.
Oh, I like this.
Me too. Could use more like gingerbread spicy flavored for me, but
The pumpkin spice ones were a little spicier than this, and I wish this
it had some of that spice.
But the flavor is really good. And the aftertaste is really good, which is sometimes an issue with these.
Yes. Oh, those are good.
I like these. They have nice... They do taste like a cookie.
Agreed.
In a nice way. I think Robert Stack would have really enjoyed these if he was here. Right? That's how the segment works.
Yep.
I give these a 4 out of 5 Robert Stacks.
Yeah.
The Dunkin' Donuts, I don't know.
2.
Yeah, I'm not so impressed with those. Okay, one last thing.
I'm excited about these.
Is they had the cherry cordial Hershey Kisses. I think these are new for this year for holiday. And
Chocolate and cherry is one of my favorite combos.
me too, but it can also go real wrong.
Yes, because it can taste like medicine.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I did really like the Dracula Kisses. I forget if those were raspberry
I think
or strawberry.
those were... Oh, gosh, no, I don't remember either.
But those were really good. I really like the little cherry foil. Super cute.
Love it.
Yeah, these are good.
These are really good.
These are good. This really does taste like cherry cordial.
Mm-hmm.
I love the, I guess it's cordial. The goo in a cherry cordial is so delicious. And it does kind of taste like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste medicine-y.
Nope.
Which was my fear. It was like, this will taste like fucking Dynatap, or I will love it. Those were like the only...
Those are the only options when it comes to cherry.
This is real good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll fight over those later.
Yeah.
So, do we have any updates?
The Patreon episode that's coming out this month will be about the reboot.
Yes,
So if you're
we'll be
waiting,
doing the first 2 episodes of season 3 of the Netflix reboot.
if you're waiting to hear our thoughts about the unprecedentedly sad reboot episodes, season 3 of this reboot.
Also, a really boring UFO thing. Oh my god.
Okay, I haven't watched that one
It's
yet.
so long and it's so boring, and I swear it's just like they don't even consider the possibility that's like spyware. It's like either he saw something and it was aliens, or he didn't, and it's like
There's lots of other options.
yeah, I don't.
Have you watched the ghost / missing person one?
No, not yet.
Okay, that one was really good. Really good. To the point where Travis and I have been going through all of them. He doesn't normally like a paranormal story, and he at the end of that one was like, that was one of the better episodes for sure in the season. So
Okay.
because it has kind of a twist. At the beginning, well, I shouldn't spoil it, but at the beginning you think that it's just a straightforward ghost story, and then it changes to something else, and it's very fascinating.
Interesting.
But a lot of the episodes are just really sad. I mean, they're
That's the
not
thing with,
interesting, but
This deep dive format where you're only doing one case per episode means you spend a lot more time with the victims' families.
yep.
And then, wow, guess what? That's a huge bummer.
Yes.
because they miss their loved ones so much, and you feel like you know them a little bit.
Yep.
And it's not the like 5 seconds that would have been in a traditional Unsolved Mysteries segment.
Right.
So you get to see like their absolute heartbreak and grief.
Mm-hmm.
There is one, I forget the victim's name, but this woman, Tammy, is on the run.
Get Tammy.
I am convinced Unsolved Mysteries viewers are going to get Tammy. She is out there somewhere, and she's
pretty recognizable.
Giant tattoo, like bouquet rose on one shoulder. Tammy, we're coming for you. Why did I just do that on audio medium? I'm like looking out. Tammy, I feel, okay, that is that's so fucking sad. But that case, oh my God.
It was horrible.
But it does give me that old Unsolved Mysteries when it was airing feeling of like, I'm going to look out my window, I'm going to fucking see Tammy, and I'm going to go, you! And I'm going to like personally tackle her to the ground. Like, I'm going to be the person.
A few episodes this season have that feeling. Have you seen the parental kidnapping episode?
Oh God, no.
So it's extremely sad. But that is another one where I'm like, we're going to fucking find these people. Like, they're out there. We're going to find them.
Because I feel like the earlier episodes of the reboot, the only person who was on the run was like on the run in Europe. And I was like, yeah, I hope we catch that guy, but I'm personally probably not going to see him. But these ones, like Tammy was like on the run from Michigan. I was like, she could totally be here.
Yeah, we could find her tomorrow.
I could be at a bus depot and see Tammy. I'm going to get her.
We need to plaster that tattoo everywhere.
Tammy, I am coming for you.
It's also like wild to think of Tammy like watching Netflix and like seeing.
I know.
Isn't that just weird to think about?
We're
like when you're
like
watching the old episodes, like well, most of the people are dead. Like, but to think like right now, like Tammy is out there watching this right now.
I mean, we've definitely talked about cases where the update is like the suspect watched himself on Unsolved Mysteries and then started to pack a suitcase to run for his life, but then the cops pulled, like, right?
Yeah.
That could be Tammy. She was like, oh shit, that Netflix episode dropped. People are definitely on my, like, I'm going to need some way better wigs. Like, this is not working.
Someone's going to see that tattoo on TikTok. I just can't wait for it.
Yeah. It's like that Night Stalker thing where he sees himself on the cover of the paper and then everyone sees him see it and they start chasing him down the street, which is like the best true crime story ever.
Amazing. Because you can see it in your head of like everyone in the store just like turning their head.
And being like, is that the fucking Night Stalker?
He's standing there just realizing everybody's looking at him and then, they chase him down the street.
Chased him down the street. Like a mob of people.
I want this for Tammy.
Yeah. I want like an ad for Netflix to come on in a bar and then everybody look over and be like, is that fucking Tammy? And then she's like, oh shit. Because it's a horrible crime. She needs to be
awful.
But anyway, you're gonna have to sign up you're gonna have to give us $1 and tax.
Yep.
To hear us dive into that one.
And it is gonna take us a while to get through the reboot episodes because we do 2 per episode.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a few months before we get through all of them. Bear with us. But we've covered all the reboot episodes. So if you sign up for our Patreon, you can go back and listen to all of those, plus all the like 50 plus other episodes that we've done about random shit.
And we did, as a little teaser, put our first discussion of the reboot out for everyone. So you can hear us discuss
which is 2 hours long.
The incident at the Belvedere Hotel, and I forget what the other one was, but those 2 are on there.
Yep.
So you can get a taste of our I would call it journalism. Our high quality.
I would too.
Yeah, it's really just a recap. I was once explaining this podcast to like a stranger, and very nicely they were like, "Oh, so it's really journalism," and I was like, "Yeah." No. That's so sweet of you, but because I was like,
either you have a really high opinion of what I've just described that I do, or you have a really low opinion.
Well, because I was saying like, we like summarize the cases and then we update if anything's happened. They were like, I guess thinking we were at the library looking at the microfiche, right? Like really,
no,
it's a TV rewatch podcast.
Yeah, no, this is not journalism.
But I appreciate that, kind stranger, wherever you are. Okay. What episode are we on? 17?
17.
Season 7, episode 17. This opens with Robert Stack in some sort of like very cool sanctuary place. I couldn't figure out where he was.
I don't know, but it was cool.
I like it. Okay, so the first case in this, wow, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this unexplained. So I'm going to do that. We're already at 22 minutes, and I'm going to do that podcast thing where you've been babbling for a long time, and then you go, let's just get right into it. It's like, no, you've been just talking shit for 20 minutes. You're not getting right into it. Let's get right into it. Okay. So this is an unexplained. We open on a police evidence warehouse in Los Angeles. This is not a reenactment, but Unsolved Mysteries filming a psychic talking to the police.
It might as well be a reenactment for how ridiculous this looks.
Okay. It seems like this woman's goddamn job, like paid job, is a psychic who talks to the police. And I'm just
I
like...
have questions.
If the LAPD was not already known as one of the most evil organizations in the history of mankind, you'd be like, this is how they're spending people's money? Talking to a...
But really, you watch this and you're like, well, it's not the worst thing they could be spending
Yeah,
money
exactly.
on.
You're like, well...
Except that I don't know if this woman has ever solved any crime ever.
No.
So it doesn't seem like it's paying off.
Yeah. Can't we just like house people? Why are we spending money on police psychics? Anyway, this is the story of Noreen Rainier from Orlando, Florida, who claims that she has the ability to see crimes from the perspective of the victim. For some reason, I find this more cringy than other psychics that we've seen interact with the police before. And
Because
I think
she acts
I think
out
it's because
the
she's acting out
crime.
like she's like being hurt. She like feels the pain of the victim and sees things through their eyes. And I'm just like, this is so.
It's bad acting.
Unless this woman is completely cuckoo bananas and literally believes this is happening,
She might, but it's still bad acting.
like this is so disingenuous and wrong. And the poor families. Why? I hate the whole thing. Anyway, so let's talk about Noreen. She claims to, this is what Robert Stack says, that she becomes one with the victims, she feels their pain, she speaks their words, and she sees the faces of their killers. Except conveniently, if, say, the person was killed in their sleep, she's able to jump into something else, or she can just be in the room. Like, in instances where that would be a problem, like, you were shot in the back of the head and you never saw who killed you, don't worry, she can just be Noreen standing there. I was like, then why are you ever the victim?
I don't understand.
Noreen.
But neither does Noreen understand, as we'll, I'm sure, talk about later.
She has worked with police in 32 different states and 4 other countries at this point on a total of 385 different crimes.
I have a question. How many crimes has she solved? How many of them? 300 crimes?
This is the one that they claimed was like her best work.
It should be 306 out of 306 or whatever the fuck. If you're a fucking psychic.
Yeah. Okay. God. She's fucking taking money from this. This is like her job. And they should be doing something else, anything else.
It's appalling.
Okay. Perhaps her most stunning success is the case of Jake and Dora Cohn, an elderly couple that lived in suburban Albany. The night of May 15th, 1986, this is really fucking sad, everybody. Dora was on the phone with her daughter. Suddenly, her daughter hears her mom, Dora, screaming for Jake. Like, they're just on the phone talking about recipes and shit.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, her mom starts going, Jake, Jake, and then it just goes dead. Mm-hmm. So, this woman calls the police. She calls her son James before rushing over there herself. Unfortunately, Dora and Jake are already dead. Both had been shot in the head. The only evidence was that their front door had been kicked in. But because James, their grandson, recognized the caliber of shell used in the murder, he was immediately a suspect, even though the police knew he was home at the time to receive the phone call from his mother. He took a polygraph test, but as we all know, those are bullshit, and that was inconclusive. The real reason the police were suspicious of James is because he had a criminal record, and he was known to, like, hang out with other criminals. So 2 years went by with no leads. This is when the family hears of Noreen. It looked from, like, some cheesy profile in a magazine, and they asked the police to contact her, and for some reason they did. So it is now 1988, and Noreen worked with the police over the phone, which is what she usually did, which I was like, wow, the level of this scam Love it. She's literally just putting people on speakerphone and being like, oh no, the dark, oh dear. Like, she's just play acting. Okay, whatever. Can you tell I don't believe that this is legitimate? Okay, so she's working with the police over the phone. They sent her items that belonged to the victims. She knew their names and ages, but she supposedly knew nothing of the crime. And she definitely couldn't, like, look that shit up. They're not even in the same room with her. She could be literally reading this out of a newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Through Dora's eyes, supposedly, Noreen knew that she was on the phone discussing recipes when suddenly there was a crash. She called out Jake's name twice, just like she had done that night. Then she enters Jake's body before he dies and said, I know you. What are you doing here? Before being shot in the face. The police asked Noreen to work with a forensic hypnotist.
Okay.
Which is another...
You thought it couldn't get worse, folks.
Another weirdo we're paying now. A forensic hypnotist to help her remember the face that she saw as Jake.
She has this ability to go into their... Like, what... If she has to be then hypnotized on top of it, what is the point?
Clearly, the police were trying to call her on her... I'm going to say she was like, I don't know, it's hazy. Like, something like that, right? The police are going, okay, so you saw the killer as Jake. What did the killer look like? And she was like, he was a dude. Right. She was being really vague. And they were like, great, get that other scam artist, that forensic hypnotist in here. And she was like, oh shit, right? Like, now I have to be a little bit more specific. So this is what she described to the hypnotist. Very, very specific, guys. Young man.
Oh, wow.
Brown hair.
Wow.
Who had come to their house for dinner. Now, you might think that's kind of specific, except really most people are killed or assaulted by people you know. So saying he's once been in the house before, I don't know. Like, that's like a statistical guess, I would say.
That doesn't make any sense to me because her daughter was on the phone with her and she wouldn't mention that they had a dinner guest.
Okay, that he had been at their house for dinner
before.
At some point.
Got it.
But it was someone they knew.
Okay.
Maybe not well, but it was someone that, like, so supposedly he had said, I know you, what are you doing here, right? She's basically just saying this is someone that Jake recognized. Maybe not Dora, but okay. I guess she probably served him dinner. Anyway, whatever. That he had done some work for Jake and was demanding to know where the money was. The hypnotist tries to get her to spell out the name, which I don't know why she would be able to do, but she only gets to the letter S before saying she can't see anything else, which I feel like is a super common letter. But anyway, the police...
Sure, Steve.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be
it also
Samantha.
Ooh, it was me, actually.
Yeah.
But it could be a middle name. I mean, it could be a last name. Like,
it could be that they are in that county. You know what I mean? Like, in the end, you could probably come back and be like,
something about this person starts with an S
because he has a snake tattoo, right? Like, it could be like anything.
He has a pet snail.
Right. I wish that was it. Now I'm like, oh, if only the killer had a pet snail, and that's what clinched the case. We were looking for a man with a pet snail. Okay, so then the police ask her to look at the suspect photographs to see if she can recognize the face that she described to the hypnotist. And she's like, I don't want to see them. Put them down on the table so I can feel their energies, which is how photographs work.
Yes.
She then picked out 3 photographs from the set without looking at them. And she got the strongest energy from one, who she said may be the killer. May, everybody. One of those photos had nothing to do with anything. It was just a random guy. One of the photos was a friend of James, Robert Skinner. And one was James himself. Because of this, they now actually looked into Robert Skinner's alibi. He said that he was with his girlfriend, and that did not hold up. And it turned out that James was behind a conspiracy to rob the couple. Now, I watched this and went, why the hell didn't they look into that alibi at the time? Why did this guy go, I was with his girlfriend, and they just wrote that down and went, okay, and moved on with their lives? Because clearly all they had to do was contact the girlfriend, and she went, what, Robert Skinner? No, I dumped that guy's ass 3 months previous, or whatever it was, right? Because apparently it didn't hold up at all.
Yeah.
But they didn't bother to look into it until a psychic picked his photo up without looking at it because of its energy. This is how crimes get solved in the United States of America. Okay. We now get possibly, it's just one of the most incredible moments on Unsolved Mysteries to me. That Noreen talking to camera is like, a lot of people ask me.
This stood out to me as well.
How I do it. And you know what I say? She doesn't really talk like that, by the way, but whatever. You know what I say? How does your mind work? How do you do math?
How do you learn things
How
as
do
a
you
child?
learn things? How does your brain, how does the logical mind work? You don't know either.
So how am I supposed
So
to know?
how am I supposed to know how I do what I do?
Here's the fucking thing, Noreen, whatever the hell your name is. Some people do know the answer to these questions.
Yeah, just because I'm not a brain scientist doesn't mean that information is unknown.
It's not magic. How people learn things. How do you learn math as a child? No one knows. It just happens. That's not true, Noreen. It's not true. People know how to teach people math and how your brain learns things.
And then she gives the smuggest look. Like she has just fucking dunked on your face to camera where she's like, yeah, that's what I say to people at, cocktail parties or whatever. And then she just goes like,
She really does.
You need to watch this segment because you will want to punch this woman in the face so bad. It's the smuggest look ever captured by a camera. I'm not sure it could be topped. It is wild. This woman is bilking money from horrible situations.
To basically, I mean, I'm
with
just gonna say
scam
that could put innocent people in prison.
Yeah,
you're picking out suspects based on the energy of a photograph.
Also that. And then it's just like, how dare you question me?
As if anyone knows how the brain works.
Of the brain.
What?
And you're like, I'm sure some people. That's not my job, Noreen. To know that. My job is to talk shit about Unsolved Mysteries.
Your job is to scam police departments.
To be a scam artist. Okay, anyway. She's very proud of herself. I wrote down, she's very proud of herself for pointing out that you don't know how your mind works either. Okay. Wow, Noreen. Okay, unfortunately, this segment keeps going. I was pissed. I thought I was done. It was going to be Samantha's turn. And then they were like, no, another case. And I was like, nope. God damn it.
Here's another one.
Okay. The second case, it turns out that this is what we saw at the very beginning, right? We saw Noreen not in an enactment, squirming around in a chair because she's having a psychic vision. And it's because Unsolved Mysteries called her in to work on this case. And I'm sure she wanted to do it over the phone like she usually does. And they were like, no, we're going to film it. And she was sort of like, well, we got to Meryl Streep it up. Got to make it really look like I'm having a psychic vision. Anyway, so we hear from Jim Tiample of the LAPD, who is currently working with Noreen on a case of 42-year-old Rosemary Hom, who was the co-owner of a Chinese bakery, who was kidnapped and stabbed to death on November 5th, 1994. Oh, so sad. Okay, one of her employees was the last person to see her alive. He seemed to be waiting outside of work for her to, unlock the door, right? He's standing there on the street. She drives by in the van, sees him, waves to him through the window, pulls into this parking garage, and she's never seen alive again. So this poor guy is just standing outside,
right,
waiting for his boss to start the day at the bakery, and she never comes out. He's standing there for half an hour. After Rosemary pulls into the parking garage, he sees a man immediately get out of his car and follow her into the garage. He doesn't really think anything of it at the time. Half an hour later, Rosemary's van is leaving the garage and that guy's driving it. And Rosemary's nobody's where to be seen. Of course, he must feel terrible.
Yeah.
But there's no way he could have known.
He wouldn't have known.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so, sorry. I got ahead of myself in my notes. Okay, 11 hours later, authorities found the van, and unfortunately, Rosemary is lying dead in the back seat. So this was the segment. This was what we were seeing at the very beginning. Noreen is in the evidence warehouse next to this van holding Rosemary's watch to get a reading off of her. And after her vision of Rosemary's killer, she describes a man to the sketch artist. And then we see that side by side with the sketch that this eyewitness, her employee, had given to the police, right? So they just show those side by side. This does not solve the case, everyone. Noreen.
Wow, really? I thought she was a psychic.
Noreen did not crack open this case. I wrote down, it was not psychics, but DNA evidence.
Wow, imagine that forensics. Wow.
It turned out it was an former employee.
Oh, man.
He pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 16 years to life. Let's see what happened to that guy. Didn't look it up. Is he out there among us right now?
Is he outside this door?
Probably. With Tammy. Okay. Here is the results from Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. This case was solved, in January 2004. Wow! Noreen
Great job, Noreen.
Great job! Great job working on this case in 95 or whenever it was. Okay, in January 2004, Rosemary's case was reopened. Through a series of interviews, they learned of an ex-employee who'd been fired from the bakery due to a series of thefts. Gotta say...
How did this not come up originally?
Because the police are not good at their jobs.
Oh my god.
We would not have an Unsolved Mysteries if the police were good at solving
the
mysteries.
First thing you ask is, who would want this person dead? Oh, probably the guy who got fired for stealing.
Yeah.
Hello? Nah.
Also,
Guys, we gotta call a psychic. There's no way to solve this one.
We'll never know. Okay, so that ex-employee had an extensive criminal history, which led to his DNA being submitted to CODIS and the National DNA Database. They discovered that the blood found at the crime scene belonged to someone other than the victim. Oh my god, they did nothing on this. This cop,
Great job.
Jim, when he was originally talking about how he was working with Noreen, I was like, wow, this guy really wants to solve this case. Kind of not, Jim. Kind of not. You couldn't even, do the blood... I realized maybe you didn't have access to DNA stuff. You couldn't do the blood type and see if the blood type was the same as the victim?
Oh, my God.
Okay, whatever. So they discovered that it was someone else's blood. The DNA was extracted from the blood sample. The DNA at the crime scene matched 43-year-old Tan Chi Feng, former employee who had stolen. On July 1st, 2004... Ty was arrested at his residence. During the interview with police, he confessed to Rosemary's murder. He claimed he confronted her with a knife in the parking garage, demanding his job back.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to hire the person that just threatened you with a knife? I can't believe she didn't say yes. When she refused, he killed her, dumping his body in the van. Wow, July 2006, he pled guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced. So I assume he is still in prison. Great job, Noreen. We're huge Noreen fans here at POI. Okay, Samantha's turn.
All right, we have a missing person. So, a pregnant woman and her 6-year-old child mysteriously disappear, and her husband becomes the prime suspect.
I mean, as he would, right? Everybody?
Well, yeah. So, we're told that after a passionate 2-year courtship, Alfredo Newball and Cecilia Amaya got married. Cecilia's son from a previous marriage, Rene Perez, was the ring bearer at their wedding. The couple started their new life together in Chatsworth, California, and almost immediately, Cecilia became pregnant. Alfredo, quality mullet. Did you give this mullet a name?
No, I didn't even think to. Though, you know what? Alfredo is just a great name all around.
This mullet could be called the Alfredo.
I think so.
So, yeah, it's a...
He had, the reason it was a quality mullet is he has, a great head of hair.
Yes, I was just about to say that because it's thick.
It's, the healthiest.
It's not stringy. Have you seen
most people with a mullet, they don't have the hair to pull off a mullet. They're kidding themselves.
Greasy, stringy, yeah.
It's just too thin, too fine. You can't have a baby hair mullet, This guy, hair like a horse.
Yeah, this hair was luscious. Have you seen the kid mullet competition?
No, what?
Okay,
I'm proud to be an American.
I'm trying.
Or at least I know I'm free.
Okay, because the best / maybe worst part of this kid mullet competition is the names of some of these kids. So
okay, sure.
Let me see if I can find.
I really wonder about people who live. Oh my god, about people who live outside of the United States that listen to this podcast and what sort of impression they get of life here.
Well, this is what life is in America. This is a child whose name is Epic.
I mean, okay, if your parents have the fucking balls to name you Epic, yeah, you should have an 80s. Does this kid get a perm?
I don't know, but I am trying to get my sister, and this isn't even a joke. I'm trying to get my sister to enter my nephew into this competition.
I love the mirrored sunglasses. This kid has like a whole lifestyle.
They adopt the whole look. I mean, like,
I respect this a lot. And I also, if you're gonna do something wacky with your hair,
look at Emmett.
Okay, Emmett looks like Euro trash. Emmett wants to go to the discotheque.
Agreed.
Okay, I don't know about you, Emmett.
Agreed.
If you're gonna do something wacky with your hair, boomers, don't complain about like kids having punk haircuts or whatever. They don't have to get jobs. Let them have whatever hair they want.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
They don't
this
have to
apparently is the winner.
What? That one? I liked Epic better.
William has you can't tell, maybe not from where you're sitting, but there's an American flag shaved into the side of his head.
That's pandering. And also looks like he gets a perm in the back. Or maybe just all these kids have very wavy hair.
Maybe. I don't know. The bangs, he's got some bangs going on, and they are straight. So I feel like there's a curling iron involved, possibly. Maybe a curling wand.
I do want your nephew entered into this contest.
Yes. And this isn't even a joke. Like, I seriously am trying to get her to do this. I think.
How old is your nephew now?
He's just over 1.
Okay, how cute with like a 2 or 3 year old with a I don't know how fast a kid's hair grows, but
it's pretty long right now. So I feel like I don't know when you have to enter the mullet competition.
But imagine like a fucking 2-year-old there. That 2-year-old's gonna win. He's gonna clean the floor with those 8-year-olds.
So cute, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, Alfredo could have really won this competition because his mullet was so
he had beautiful hair.
Luscious.
Okay, also, but a grown man entering the kids' mullet
there's adult divisions too. This is the world mullet competitions, I believe, and there's adult divisions, but the kids one was the one that like went viral on Twitter or whatever.
Amazing.
So,
I don't
listeners,
know
you have to look it up because it's just incredible.
So, I mean, I would name Epic's mullet, except it's already named
the Epic.
Epic.
mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So, okay, so back to the segment. So Cecilia is pregnant. On September 20th, 1994, with her due date only 2 weeks away, Cecilia sat down to write thank you notes for gifts for her baby shower.
What a nice, like, wholesome...
I know, right?
Ugh.
That day, as Alfredo left for work, he says he hesitated at the door for just a moment. And this is, like, kind of sweet. He says that she looked so beautiful, and so he went back and gave her one last kiss. And then that's where he left her writing thank you notes. The last time he saw her.
Definitely not just eating these other Dunkin' Donuts chocolates while you talk.
Alfredo worked as a nurse's assistant in a hospital and retirement home. 2.5 hours into his shift, he phoned Cecilia. And he says that he had some weird feelings, that something was wrong, but she never answered the phone, and for some reason he thought that she could be visiting with friends or perhaps being at his mother's house. I mean, she is, like, extremely pregnant at this point, so... Right. I mean, what could she be doing? Alfredo called several times throughout the evening. Eventually, he became concerned and left work early. As he approached the apartment, he noticed that Cecilia's car was parked on the street instead of in the building's secured lot. He rushed into the apartment in search of his wife and his stepson. Inside, there were no signs of a break-in or a struggle, but there were also no signs of Cecilia and Renee. In the Jeep, Alfredo says he found a generic store-bought goodbye card. It was signed simply Cecilia. So
that's so fucking suspicious. This woman could not be more pregnant, really.
Yeah.
And she's choosing this time to go down to her, Walgreens.
Get a greeting card.
That
rely
says,
on the message inside the card and just sign it her name.
She's like, peace, I'm out. I'm just gonna have this baby on my own like tomorrow.
Yeah, this is not normal behavior. Cecilia's wedding and engagement rings had also been left on the passenger seat. So obviously Alfredo was shocked. And his first thought was not that something bad had happened to his wife. His first thought was like, oh my God, she left me. And he says the relationship was good. We never had problems. We didn't fight. He thought, why would she do something like this, leaving me a note?
Like not even a note, just like her own name.
Right. Very confused. He was very confused. So Alfredo phoned the one person he thought might know where she was. It was her closest friend at work, Kevin Annabelle. It was this phone call that first cast suspicion on Alfredo. When Kevin answered the call, Alfredo questioned whether Cecilia was there. This is what Kevin says. He said, Al, she's not here, and you're really starting to scare me. He says that Alfredo was unusually calm, and that if it was that they would expect to be screaming. I don't know. Again, you don't know how people are going to react. And also, some people are just better in an emergency.
Also, he doesn't think his wife is in danger or missing. He thinks that his wife has left him.
Right.
And he's calling the man that possibly she left him for.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be... Okay, maybe obviously, some people would be screaming and furious. But he's not going to be, like, in a fear. No. He's not going to be in a panic. He thinks that she's fine, right. And he's just heartbroken. Yep. So I think this guy's kind of looking at it from, like, the wrong perspective.
Agreed. Yeah. And maybe you would, like, purposely calm yourself down if you were making this phone call.
He wants this guy to put her on the phone.
Right.
So if he calls up and it's like, you fucking bastard, you stole my wife, blah, 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 the guy's just going to hang up.
Yeah.
So I guess his critique is, like, he was too rational in this moment. But again, I don't think he was, like, worried for her safety.
Right. Right. Exactly. So Alfredo said he remained calm because he thought his wife would come back to him. He said, I felt like she maybe needed to be away for a few days or something. He wasn't sure. He just thought it was very strange, but he did think that she would come back. The day after Cecilia disappeared, the police called Alfredo. They had been contacted by one of Cecilia's relatives. This is Detective Alex Valadez of the Los Angeles Police Department took on the missing persons case and found Alfredo's conduct on the phone strange. And this again, you know, he says that Alfredo didn't appear to be concerned.
I think his ego is more bruised than he's like freaking out.
Right.
He wants his wife and his soon to be kid back, but he's not like, oh my God, what happened to them?
Yeah, well, exactly. And I mean, I realize that the detective is like, well, wouldn't she be more concerned because of how pregnant she is? And I guess, but I don't know. Again, if you think she's fine and is just like mad at you or something, I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't be like. He says basically that he expected Alfredo to be grieving, but Alfredo doesn't think she's dead.
Right.
So I don't know why you would be grieving. I don't know. So
I think they're interpreting this with the information that they have later, and they're not looking at it like he would be looking at it in that moment.
Yeah, I agree. So 3 days later, suspicion increased when Alfredo received a letter postmarked in nearby Van Nuys, California. I probably didn't pronounce that right. Inside the envelope was a card identical to the one that Alfredo had found in Cecilia's car. There was also a typewritten note from Cecilia explaining...
Yeah, I often buy 2 of the same goodbye card and send them to the same person.
It's normal. So the note...
What is a goodbye card even?
I don't...
Peace out.
I don't know.
I really hope it says just like, it's been real.
I do kind of wish we had seen the card. Did it have like a, I don't know,
I know, I'm familiar with like a Bon Voyage card, but like, what is the like, and I'm breaking up with you.
A goodbye card is bizarre.
I'm taking your soon-to-be child and I'm leaving forever. Hey.
Yeah, did it have like a cute mouse on the front or something?
It's a division of Hallmark I'm unfamiliar with.
I've never looked at a goodbye card. So,
when you need to break up with someone, but you just don't have the words. You are dumped.
Is this a genre of Hallmark card? Like, I feel like if it isn't, we should like, maybe this is a niche market and we should get into making
the you are dumped cards. People seem to complain. I mean, look, hey, I haven't dated in 1 billion trillion years, but I see a lot of complaints about the ghosting And
this will solve that problem. You just send them a card.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Also, that's not entirely a new I feel like back in the day, people just wouldn't call you anymore.
Yeah, I don't know that ghosting is like
so new.
Yeah, it's not.
But anyway, people don't want to be ghosted. They want some closure. They want to know what happened. You could get
send them a "you are dumped" card.
The "you are dumped."
But we also need we could diversify a little bit, because not necessarily like some people might. Like, you might not be in a relationship. Like, you might not be exclusive. So that might not be, like, a dumping situation so much as, like, it was fun, but, like, our fling is done. Like, I feel like we need to have a range of cards for people.
No, absolutely. Like, yeah, you were a summer fling.
Yeah.
Summer's over.
Thanks for the great dick.
It's cuffing season.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a variety for you, don't worry.
Nothing personal, but, you're not that smart. And... What if there's one that in the inside has like a list of red flags and you just check...
I found out you were a Republican.
Oh God, what a nightmare.
Yeah, we'll have that.
You really have to disclose that, folks.
You do.
That's not okay.
You do. You need to put that in like your Tinder profile.
That's not okay. That is deception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I say we have a card that has a list of the red flags, and then you check whichever ones apply.
The flags are just an outline, and you color them in red.
Oh God, yes. And then it's like, the following things. Like, you talk about your mom too much.
This needs to be a coloring sheet so people can take this with them.
You're so right. This is the next coloring sheet. Okay, actually, this month we're having guest artist Brian Duffy draw. I don't usually say what the coloring sheet is, but it's Spooky Train Day, of course.
Spooky Train.
The next one could be the red flag
checklist.
So if you have any...
Send in your red flags.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we'll make you a little coloring sheet. You can print it out, fold it up, keep it in your purse. Just pull it out.
Leave it on people's nightstands after you've taken their phone and rated our podcast.
Yeah, color them in.
You didn't listen to Perhaps It's You. That's a red flag
That's
there.
absolutely a red flag. You don't know who Robert Stack is. You don't know what cemetery you're going to be buried in.
You think Noreen is really psychic.
Okay, this is going to end up being a book. We're not going to be able to fit it on one sheet.
It could be a little zine. You leave the people's
color in. Wait, I love this idea.
Yeah. Okay,
right, I don't remember where I was in my notes.
Also, okay, quick note. The chocolate cream chocolates were different than I expected. You should have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They didn't just taste like the...
You should have one. And I'm going to have another one.
Oh, they're white chocolate.
Yeah, with chocolate cream inside.
I wasn't expecting that. Oh. These are better than the Boston cream pie.
I agree. I
think it's the outside chocolate on that one. It's like the cheap...
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously cheap chocolate as well, but it tastes better.
Yeah.
When it's with the white chocolate.
Actually, I think this is the best of the bunch.
Yeah. Wow.
The one we weren't even going to bother with.
Yeah. Sometimes things surprise you.
Yeah. Okay. I've interrupted this segment enough.
We didn't think you had enough mouth noises on this episode.
No. Nom.
Okay, so where we left off was Alfredo got the exact same card. Let's just do a spit take.
Whoops. I just spit all over my pop filter here.
This is a first.
Ugh. Well.
Liz is wiping it with her sleeve.
We're professional.
It's too bad this isn't a visual medium. What a treat this episode has been.
It's got a little San Pellegrino on there.
So Alfredo's gotten a second identical card. This one has a typewritten note. We've seen, this season of Unsolved Mysteries has more. This is the second
typewritten goodbye note.
This is the second fake typewritten goodbye
note. Which
note.
Nobody has shared their Mad Lib, by the way.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in all
Get
of you.
On it.
Corner someone you lived with.
Make them do the Mad Lib.
One of your coworkers, I don't care who it is, and make them do the Mad Lib.
It's fun. I did it. I made Mag do it with me. It was a good time.
Okay, so this typewritten note said that Cecilia had gone to Honduras with another man, a doctor named Arturo.
What, like 9 months pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay.
No mention of this baby. The note said that she had fallen in love with Arturo 9 months earlier.
Whoa.
and it was possible that he was the father of her unborn child. Alfredo's first impression was that his wife had indeed left him. Look, maybe Alfredo's not that smart. All of the mullet is not necessarily a sign of intelligence. He said, after reviewing the letter several times, some parts didn't sound like Cecilia, and it didn't strike me as Cecilia at all. So he did eventually review the note a couple times and decide that, some of this doesn't really sound like his wife. Kevin also found the letter out of character and says, I would say that she was almost obsessed with Alfredo. And when you're that in love with a person, you don't just meet a doctor and say, well, I think I'm going to go to Honduras. Let me write my husband a note.
Let me buy 2 of the same goodbye card and just give him that. He'll explain everything.
Yeah, Kevin has a good point here. After examining the letter and speaking with her friends and family, Detective Valadez was convinced that the letter was not from Cecilia. Whoever typed this letter knew more about Alfredo's side of the family rather than knowing very much about Cecilia's side of the family. And so his best guess was that Cecilia's disappearance was not by her own will. He believed that there was a third party involved. In fact, 6 months before she disappeared, Cecilia received an odd phone call from a still unidentified woman who may have been that third party. This part is weird. So Cecilia is pregnant, and according to her friend Cammie, actually, is the person who tells us about this. She gets a call from a woman who had a videotape of Alfredo kissing another woman at a baby shower, is what she said.
Nothing gets you turned like a baby shower.
Yeah, no
He was
kidding.
really horned up. He was like, let's make some more babies, baby.
So the woman wanted...
that's the most vile thing I've ever said.
I love how that didn't even... I just kept going.
You were like, yep.
Yep. That is probably what he thought.
That was the theme of the baby shower.
Just making more babies. Honestly, that's a good theme.
Baby /shower/orgy.
Yeah. You know how, like, bachelorette parties have all the dicks and stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like that should be a baby shower.
What if you went to a baby shower and it was dick themed? You didn't know. You walk in.
You're all cute in your little outfit.
Yeah, you're wearing like a sundress.
There's one of those balloon arches. You see them on Instagram, but it's got like dick balloons in it.
You're just like, huh? They probably didn't realize that looks like dicks. And then you go inside.
There's the little dick straws and like the mimosas.
Dick cake.
Actually,
we should not give people ideas. People post the weirdest pregnancy announcement photos. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. Where it's like,
a pinch of daddy.
So gross.
Stir it up.
So gross.
Yeah, no. It's
Are
disgusting.
breeders okay? No. The straights are not okay.
Oh my god.
I'll speak for the straight community. Something is horribly wrong.
Yeah, it's really true. Okay, so there's this videotape of apparently him kissing another woman at a baby shower. Was it Cecilia's baby shower?
That's vile.
That's what I feel like I was not clear in the episode.
Was not clear.
Was it her baby shower?
I don't know,
but the woman wanted her to see it. And wanted to arrange a meeting, but then never called her back, and the matter was apparently forgotten. Then, a few weeks before Cecilia disappeared, she got another mysterious call. This one was from a woman who claimed to work with Alfredo. This is extremely confusing, but Cecilia confided in her friend that the woman said that they wanted to give Alfredo a baby shower at his work.
Okay.
Which is, nice, I guess, something I've really never heard of before, but...
Men don't typically get work baby showers.
No.
And they should.
They should. Is great. More gifts, the better. But, that's not something I've ever heard of. But anyway, so she said that apparently the woman claimed to Cecilia that they wanted to throw him a baby shower. And that she had some baby furniture that she wanted Cecilia to pick out a piece of the furniture, but to keep it secret because the shower was going to be a surprise. So I think she was calling to be like, look, we're going to give him some furniture. We want to make sure that you like it, and it'll be a surprise for him. Don't tell him, which honestly is smart and something that you should probably do. But then police learned after the call that there had not been made by Alfredo's coworker, and that the baby shower had not, in fact, been planned. But by then it was too late. According to Cammie, Cecilia disappeared the same day she was supposed to meet with the lady who called about the baby shower. So detectives are convinced that this is not a coincidence. However, they still do have questions about Alfredo's behavior.
I kind of don't. I understand why he would be the prime suspect, obviously, but
there's really like not that much evidence.
Just based on his behavior, I'm not seeing it.
It seemed like everyone they knew thought they had a good relationship. They said that she seemed genuinely in love with him. Like, I
think he really thought he was left.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm buying it. Maybe I shouldn't.
Let's look up the Unsolved Mysteries wiki.
You know, unfortunately, because she was so pregnant, what this reminds me of is that case on I Survived, where the pregnant woman has contact with someone because like their packages get switched or something,
and then they steal the baby.
And she goes to this woman's house. She's like talked to her a couple times. She seems perfectly normal. She goes to her house because to get some like that. I think like some package accidentally got sent there or something, right? And then the woman she's like in the house and she realizes there's all these pictures of famous people, but the eyes are like scratched out. And then the woman was faking her pregnancy and trying to steal this woman's baby.
I didn't even think about that, but that's.
It's this weird.
It's the fact that she got these phone calls from a woman that makes me think that like that she seems to have been lured
and they're baby related.
Yeah, too. Yeah, that makes me really suspicious. The only thing is like, why steal this? So I feel like this was a little bit glossed over in the episode, but her son was also stolen. Like her son was also disappeared. Renee, her I think he was 8, maybe.
Maybe the person didn't expect her to bring the son though.
Right. Yeah, that could be. So the Unsolved Mysteries wiki doesn't have a very satisfying.
This is so sad.
Result. This is still unsolved. Investigators did later determine that Alfredo was having an extramarital affair around the same time that Cecilia and Renee disappeared. He is still considered a person of interest in the case. If Cecilia is still alive, she would be 57 years old. She was born in El Salvador and speaks with a Latin accent. If Renee is still alive, he would be 31.
Oh my god.
And that's it.
I mean, I guess the fact that he's having an affair is more suspicious. Maybe he wanted to get rid of his wife, but I don't know. This phone call part is very strange.
Yeah, that's the part that's weird.
Okay. Now I have an amnesia case, and we haven't had one of those in a while.
It's been a while since we've had an amnesia.
Yeah, it's been a little while. This is the mystery woman of Audubon Park, which is a park in New Orleans. This woman woke up in the park with no knowledge of who she was or how she got there. She just had a vague notion that her name might be Gigi. Guess what? It's not. Other than that, she knew nothing.
Yikes.
So for some reason, we see this other woman interview Gigi. I don't know if this segment just already existed and Unsolved Mysteries was like, yep, great. Like, that's the impression I get, is they're like, this was like for the local news, and they were like, we'll just take that.
Yeah.
So we see a reporter named Susan Rosegan interview Gigi 6 months after this incident where she wakes up in the park. We see, this is quite odd. We see the items that she had on her person at the time. Now, the reporter asks, like, how did you know these things were yours? And she was like, I just assumed. I woke up. There was this bag next to me. There was no one else around. I assumed this is the stuff that belonged to me. But she has no personally identifying information of any kind. She doesn't have a driver's license or credit cards or checks or anything.
Yikes.
What she does have is 4 pairs of scissors, a gold-plated table setting, UPS personnel notices that only people that like work there would have, bank deposit envelopes that would be used in the northeastern United States, so not near New Orleans at all, 26 tubes of lipstick.
That's too much lipstick.
24 lip liners. And
okay,
a dozen...
you think you'd have 26, but okay.
Yeah, way to match, Gigi. And dozens of other cosmetics. So they show us these items on Unsolved Mysteries in case this is a clue to her real identity. The police had failed to match up any corresponding missing persons cases to Gigi. And they also at one point gave her so-called truth serum, but that did not bring back any of her memories. We see from her doctor, who believes that her amnesia is authentic because she has been like very actively involved in trying to figure out who she is. That he did not think this was like a woman who, I don't know, why would you fake amnesia?
I don't know.
Just to like start over, I guess. This doctor has quite the mustache.
Quite.
It is huge. It is the thickness of 5 regular mustaches. I called it one whale of a mustache.
Nice.
Because it's one hell of a mustache, and it kind of reminds me of a whale, and that's how my mind works. Okay, so he points out that someone went through a lot of effort to remove any identification from her purse before leaving her in the park. And he also found it quite weird that, like, her handbag and her wallet are, like, brand new. And there's no, like, receipts or, like... It doesn't look like a purse you would actually have been, like, using. You know what I mean?
If you're someone who carries around 26 lipsticks, you use your purse. So
right, like you would have, like, they couldn't, like, go through and, like, be like, oh, she was at, you know, Walmart at this time. Like, there was nothing, there was no receipts, there was
were
no
the
just,
lipsticks
like,
new?
they looked new in the segment.
Okay,
all of this bullshit looked new.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
Maybe she was shoplifting.
Maybe. Okay, anyway, it was believed that her amnesia is the result of witnessing a traumatic event, is what the doctor said.
Okay,
so
I don't know how you possibly know that, but...
I guess it was not head trauma.
Sure, okay, you could probably rule that out.
So they were like, probably she saw something and her brain just, like, shut down, which is horrifying to think.
Yes,
Though
I mean,
also,
it had to have been very bad.
This very random selection of items kind of makes me wonder if before she had amnesia, her brain was not working properly already.
Yeah.
And she was like, I've got to get the important things. And, like, this is what she assembled. But I also do sort of buy that someone took away her, like, actual wallet and identifying information.
Right, you'd think you would have that.
Right. Anyway, so this was on Unsolved Mysteries in the hopes that someone would recognize Gigi. And people did. Several viewers watching the original broadcast recognized Gigi as actually being Belinda Lynn from Wilmington, Delaware. It is still a mystery how she got to New Orleans and what caused her amnesia.
Wow.
Which is fucking terrifying to me. Also, I can't really find an update on this. I hope you're doing well, Belinda Lynn. I loved her dress that she's wearing. She's wearing this, like, very Wednesday Addams dress in her interview. Love it. This is terrifying.
It really is.
I hope this never happens to me. I hate it.
Yeah, I do too. And I mean, sometimes I feel like we've seen cases of amnesia where you can see that, like, why the person might come up with this. Like, if they had made it up, like, they were,
there was
the
guy
guy who stole
robbed,
the paperclip from his work and then started over with a new life, saying he had amnesia. Right? Like,
or there was another theft. There was a guy with the frozen food theft that may or may not have had amnesia.
But she got nothing out of this.
No.
So
she seemed genuinely like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do now. Like where am I supposed to go?
Right.
How am I supposed to live my life?
What is my life?
Yeah, this is
terrifying.
This sucked for her. I don't even understand where she was staying, like, when this was filmed. She doesn't seem to have any money.
No.
She's literally, like, must have had to go to the police station and be like, hi, maybe my name's Gigi. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
God. Can't buy anything with all these lipsticks.
Yeah, do you want 26 lipsticks and 24 lip liners and gold-plated silverware?
So weird.
It's very odd.
So
it's
weird.
That's genuinely very creepy and mysterious.
Yes.
Okay, we have one last one.
All right, this is a
Lost Love.
This is a Lost Love. This
Love.
This is unlike. I feel like this is a unique Lost Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So Bob Coleman is searching for information about his father, Richard Coleman's mysterious past. So, by all accounts, Richard was a fairly ordinary man who lived an uneventful life. He worked as a vending machine mechanic in Washington, D.C., and had served in the military and married in 1947. Bob, his son, was born 2 years later. Bob's fondest memory of his father involved their love of baseball. Bob remembers him and his father playing baseball in the front yard. Richard Coleman passed away in 1961 when Bob was only 11.
Ugh. So hard.
A short time after he passed, Bob began looking through an old trunk under his parents' bed. The very 11-year-old thing to do.
Also, the most unsolved mysteries things. It's
I know,
always
an
like
old trunk.
A kid is like, I decided to go through the trunk in the attic and I found a scrapbook of a person that looked exactly like me.
It's very true. Inside were Richard's war mementos. When Bob asked his mother about it, she said the most cryptic thing imaginable, which is that she claimed that Richard did not like to talk about the army because he did something bad. I think in the reenactment she said something he wasn't proud of.
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, that doesn't evoke good things. Bob's mother did not...
Oh, your father firebombed a village. still want to talk about it.
Bob's mother did not say much else about the subject. 14 years later, in 1975, Bob again looked in the trunk.
I found the update on Gigi. Okay. It's solved. Viewers' tips led Gigi to being possibly identified as 31-year-old medical secretary named Belinda Lynn from Wilmington, Delaware. However, it was later learned from relatives that she had been diagnosed as schizophrenic and that she had done something similarly to that in the past.
Okay.
And according to Unsolved Mysteries Wiki, it is now believed she faked her amnesia.
Is it fake? I mean, we don't know that. I mean, maybe it wasn't real amnesia, but she could have believed it.
Yeah,
if she was having a
mental illness related.
A mental illness related episode.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, actually.
Belinda, I hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Yeah, man. Okay, so I'm glad we have.
I like that Unsolved Mysteries Wiki doesn't put it under her real name. They put it under just Gigi.
Oh.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. Come on.
She has a name, and it's a cool name, Belinda.
Yeah, her name was not Gigi. Why are you filing it under that?
Anyway, go on.
Oh my gosh. So, look, Unsolved Mysteries Wiki is crowdsourced. We can only expect so much.
Yeah, we appreciate them as a valuable resource.
Okay, so Bob's mother didn't say much about it. 14 years passed, and Bob decides to again look in the trunk. He looked at his father's uniform and noticed that it had a pin that meant his father was a doctor in the Army. This reminded Bob of an incident during his childhood in which his mother had been cleaning the blinds when she suddenly badly cut her hand. Bob remembers that his father ran in and immediately took control of the situation, applying pressure. He knew to have her lay down and elevate her hand, and this memory led Bob to believe that his father did have knowledge of the medical field. He just acted like a doctor. So Bob couldn't understand why his father would abandon the medical field to become a vending machine mechanic. When he looked at more items in the trunk, he found several medals from the First World War, even though he thought that his father had only fought in the Second World War. Bob found another item from the First World War, a certificate which had several items written over, including the name. This suggested that Richard had written the name Richard Coleman over his real name. I didn't realize it was a thing you could do. You could just white out your old name and write in your new one. The same envelope that held the letter also had a sheet with the same names and numbers written over and over. These names and numbers were used to replace the previous names and numbers on the certificate. After checking with the Veterans Administration, Bob learned that the certificate belonged to another man. Bob also learned that there was no record of Richard Coleman serving in the Army Medical Corps in either the First or Second World War. No one by the name of Richard Coleman. Bob then remembered something else from his childhood. When his father was on his deathbed in the hospital, he asked his father if anyone else had visited him. Richard said no, and Bob asked why his brothers or sisters hadn't come to see him. Bob's parents then changed the subject. Normal.
Okay, Unsolved Mysteries is really here to tell you, be upfront with your children.
Yes.
Don't make things into mysteries.
No, people knew what was going on. They could have just told him. He didn't need to go on Unsolved Mysteries.
People end up haunted by this shit.
Yes.
Because you didn't tell them that, I don't know, they have a half-sibling you lost custody of or whatever. If there's some shameful thing, eventually you just got to tell them. You don't want them going on national television begging strangers to be like, why was my dad so weird?
Why was everyone so shady on his deathbed?
Why was he writing over official documents with different names?
Bob found one more item in the trunk. It was a roster supplement from a New York City gun club. It listed Richard as a member in 1944 and stated that his occupation was, quote, special patrolman. From tax records, Bob learned that his father had been employed as a security guard at a bank in Manhattan from 1943 to 1945. However, the bank had no employment records for a Richard Coleman. When Bob researched his father's address from 1944, he discovered that his father may have lived with a, quote, Alice Coleman. Voting records stated that they were married and that she lived with Richard Coleman. However, he could not find any marriage records for them. Bob's mother passed away in 1983 without giving him any clues of his father's past. I mean, come on. Just tell him.
Particularly after the father. Okay, so the father doesn't want to admit whatever. he dies.
Yeah.
Just tell your son.
Seriously.
Tell your son.
Bob believes that his father may have done something in his past that he regretted. Richard Coleman did identify his parents as David Coleman and Adelaide Cooper. He listed both Massachusetts and Montana as his birthplace. Bob hopes to find his father's family and determine why he covered up his identity. So this is solved, and surprise, surprise, it's because he had a separate family that he abandoned. So in 2006, Bob...
I mean, I guess I understand why he didn't want to admit that, but it seems
seems
like
like
the wife
his
knew.
It seems like, yeah, his parents knew, like...
Could have told him.
Yeah. Bob Coleman searched through World War II draft registration cards on Ancestry.com and found one for his father, which gave Richard's birth date as September 12, 1895, and his place of birth as Everett, Massachusetts. He then searched through the draft cards from World War I using his father's birth date and place of birth. He found one record.
Forever.
I can't believe that he did all this. He found one record for a Coleman Joel DeCourte, and the signatures between the two draft cards were identical. Through census records, Bob was able to locate his father's parents, 7 siblings, first wife, son, 2 daughters, and several cousins. Unfortunately, most of these relatives have since passed away. However, he was able to get in contact with several half-nieces and nephews and cousins, along with his half-brother's wife. Bob learned that his father was a policeman and man in Massachusetts and had first married in 1915. Later, he and his first wife went through a nasty divorce. One day, Coleman walked away from his family and never returned.
Oh my God.
Since this discovery, Bob and his sister have been reunited with several of their late father's family members. So, yep.
I feel like this is something a lot of people are learning through, like, the DNA, Ancestry, and whatever, those other ones, like 23andMe. Is you go like, oh shit, so and so had like a whole other family, and now
3 kids that he just walked away from.
It's just sad that clearly this guy was longing for more of a family connection, and that was kept from him.
Yes,
and he wanted
for what?
Yeah,
the man's dead.
After he's dead, there's no reason to keep that a secret.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people feel shame, but
it's not their shame.
No,
it's his, and he died with it.
Yeah.
I can understand that the guy didn't want to be like, look, I completely abandoned these other kids, but I'm not going to do that to you, pal. Like, I kind of get that. But...
Well, he's probably not a nice person. I mean, I'm just going to say.
What? You don't think he's a stand-up guy? Okay, that brings us to the end of the episode, though.
That's it.
We got to rate it.
Okay, so mysteriousness is our first category.
Oh, so mysterious.
Yeah.
This episode is mysterious in a way that episodes have not been lately.
It's true. It's true.
Thumbs way up.
I don't know about Noreen. That's the only outlier here.
Okay, it's not mysterious, but it's funny. And
not this category, but that's fine.
Yeah,
it's our podcast and we make the rules.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but the other stuff is so mysterious, though. And Noreen didn't help solve those cases, so she kept them mysterious.
True.
Noreen was upping the mystery by not helping the police at all.
Fair enough. The mystery is, why did they give so much money to this woman?
Yeah.
Why
is this not considered a fraud segment?
Why will police literally pay a psychic before they actually solve a crime?
Yeah.
That's a mystery. So
okay,
yeah, thumbs
what
up.
about that t-shirt I sent you today that said... This is from the Twitter account, which R.I.P. Twitter. You're on the way out. We'll all miss you.
This is what Twitter has given us. This is what Elon Musk is taking from us.
He paid so much money, and now I'm not going to be able to enjoy accounts like T-shirts that go hard, which had this T-shirt that said, "It's easy to love you," and it had 2 teddy bears hugging, and then below it said, "Because you're not a cop."
I want this on a greeting card for Valentine's Day this year.
Or you could just, and then inside it says, also, you're dumped. It's easy to love you because you're not a cop. However, I am leaving you for my friend Sarah. She's totally real, and we're moving away. Okay, wait.
Plot twist.
What's the next category?
Reenactments.
Fine. I guess Noreen doesn't count as a reenactment. So.
Nothing really stands out for me. And honestly, there wasn't like a lot of action in this one.
That's true. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the just missing persons was just a pregnant lady sitting on a chair taking a phone call. So Liz almost did another spit take.
Yeah, that was not. I mean, it's not a lie. That's true. Okay,
It's just not a lot of action.
Thumbs down then.
So thumbs down. Fashion.
Okay, I really liked Gigi's dress. Well, her name is really Belinda.
The mullet.
Okay, we did get a mullet.
We haven't gotten a mullet in a while. I feel like.
And that doctor's whale of a mustache was pretty impressive. I'm going to say this is a hesitant thumbs up.
The fashion has been on the decline for a while now. As we've gone through time, you know, we're approaching to the 2000s. We're in the 2000s, if not, you know, getting there. And I feel like the fashion is just on its way down.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where we are.
So the bar is low, and a mullet and one mustache is gonna carry this category.
It's approaching up.
Yeah. Robert Stack.
I liked the sanctuary he was in. He could have been in it more though.
Agreed.
Let's give him a thumbs down.
But yeah, thumbs down.
Teach him a lesson. And then
you better step it up next episode.
Yeah.
Our Robert Stack's rating. I did like this one.
I think this is a good one.
Because there was just some new stuff. You know, we haven't had an amnesia in a while. We
get
had a lost
psychic.
love.
We get a lost love.
No unnecessary update.
It's not all brutal murders. There's some sad stuff, but it's not so sad that you want to die.
There's some real mystery.
Yeah.
In some of these. So
why would you pack 26 lipsticks and 24 lip liners?
Yes. Quite a mystery.
So I'm going to say a 4.
I think it's a 4. It's not a 4.5, but I think it's a 4.
Pretty solid 4 though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I recommend it. You have to watch it to see Noreen tell you that no one knows how brains work. And then I say, do you even know
how your own brain works? No, Noreen, I fucking don't, but that doesn't mean no one does.
Do you fully understand the speed of light? No. Well, then it doesn't exist. That's Noreen's logic.
Oh my god.
All right. So we're gonna end with some recommendations.
Are we?
I'll just.
Do you have a recommendation?
First of all, we have a recommendation update, which is that the full. You know how this used to just be secretly a Baraska fan podcast?
Yes.
Well, I wish it was again, but the second season of Baraska is now fully out.
Okay.
So if you're a binger, I was listening to it.
I kind of am a binger.
Week by week because I needed it. I was so excited for it to come back, and I had such a wonderful experience listening to it and anticipating the next episode. But now they are all out, including the last episode, which was a 2-parter. So be sure to listen to that on Repod, everyone. And leave your little comments, and I will probably see them, and we can chat about it.
Nice.
It's not the twisted mind fuck that season 1 was.
Okay.
I don't know that it brings quite the spookiness.
Got it.
But if you were into that story, you're gonna get some closure. There are some new twists. There's some explanations of stuff that happened in the first season that maybe you're like, what the fuck was that? You gotta spend some more time with the characters.
Okay.
I really did enjoy it. It's probably not as good as season 1, but it's solid. I did, being me, already know kind of what was going to happen because I read the story. So Baraska is written by Rebecca Klingel, who writes under the pen name, I think it's C.K. Walker? Something like that.
Sounds right.
Something like that. Anyway, so she has like 4 books of short stories out, and Baraska and Baraska Part 2 were in those books, so... I already sort of knew what was going to happen, but they added in some other stuff.
Gotcha.
But the audio production is just like...
Yeah.
So definitely listen with headphones. I've been like listening like in a dark room with no distractions.
Okay.
To really get the full like...
experience.
I am in the woods running for my life, like...
Oh, okay.
Feel.
Yeah.
And it's been really great. And I hope that Q Code does more podcast with Rebecca Klingel because she can fucking write those twists where I'm like, holy shit.
Nice.
She also worked on Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix if people watch those. And there's certain twists in those shows that I was like, oh, that's definitely her. Like you can just like tell that that's like her stamp of something being like truly fucked up. We're like, I bet that was Rebecca. I know it. Anyway, so that's out now. Oh, also, people, I think that Repod, which is the only app with the decency, honesty, bravery,
integrity.
Yeah, to give us money.
Yep.
They have their own chart. And I have a sneaking suspicion that chart is based solely on likes per episode. So definitely, first of all, download the RePod app.
Yes.
Follow our podcast. Look for me, Liz, just out there using the podcast. But if you like our individual episodes, I think that's how they chart. I want us to get us to number 1, and I think it's doable.
Because if we get to number 1, we can say that we are
number one
Unsolved Mysteries rewatch podcast.
And we can say we're the number 1 podcast on the RePod app, and that sounds amazing. So please, please, please go in and like individual episodes.
If you're hooking up with someone tonight, get on their phone, download the RePod app,
get RePod,
sign them up, go in and like
it, and then leave a comment that's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe these women are so beautiful and also so funny," something like that. Like, I've never heard such majestic voices, and also their insights are brilliant, and I wish I could be their best friend. Stuff like that. Like, just normal things you would say.
Things you're thinking anyway. Just type it out in a comment on one of our episodes. Get us some engagement on this app, and then we can say we're the number 1
I want to be number 1.
On RePod.
I cannot tell you how much I want to be number 1.
We can get there.
I know it. Come on, 5 listeners. You've been so loyal to us so far. I'm just asking for one more thing before I ask for other things.
I was going to say, this isn't going to be the last thing we ask for, but right now, this is what we're asking for.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Also, people need to be using this feature where you can make an audio clip. I think it's so fun, and no one ever seems to use it. You can also, like, share it in other things. Like, I put it in my Instagram story. It's okay. So in Baraska, the main character's last name is Walker, and in the season, which is my last name, if you don't know. And in the second season, that gets kind of creepy.
Okay.
And so I made this clip of this person going like, "I'm a walker," and I don't know. It's fucking hilarious to me. I was like, "This is how I introduce myself from now on."
Amazing.
Anyway,
clip our sound bites.
Yeah. Remember what wave files? I fucking loved setting up my computer to have like different wave files happen when like. My computer error message used to be Ewan McGregor going, for fuck's sake. It's great. It's so great. Okay, anyway. I am going to do a TV recommendation to close this out.
Nice.
Because I realized that I feel like I'm always watching this show when we're not recording.
Okay.
So I somehow have not recommended it yet. And that's Reservation Dogs on Hulu. It's a half-hour show. It takes place on a reservation in Oklahoma. It's about a friendship group of indigenous teenagers, and it's filmed entirely in Oklahoma. And it's so funny, but also has like, I've never watched something that so well blends like serious stuff and comedic stuff. Just like, it just is so well done. The all of the characters are super charming, and you'll love them. It's like a very different perspective than anything else I've seen on television, and it's just really fucking charming.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. The writing is great. The acting is great. It's very well made, and it's really not like anything else, and I don't hear people talking about it enough. So that's on Hulu. I think it's only on Hulu. So if you don't have Hulu, go hook up with someone that does.
Steal their Hulu password after you download RePod onto their phone.
Exactly.
Then send them I'm done hooking up with you greeting card.
I already got your Hulu password. Goodbye.
Yes.
God, we have a lot of advice for people hooking up, for people that have been married for a while.
Such good advice.
We have really great advice about how to get out there. Anyway.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About a TV show, a Netflix show, which is, I'm pretty sure that this food competition show that keeps getting recommended to me called Easy Bake is like, they have to make stuff with like, I don't know, like box.
It's like using an Easy Bake oven to make
Is it actually using an Easy Bake oven?
I think so.
Or is it just using like powdered cake mix?
No, I think it's using an Easy Bake
oven. Okay, I'm going to watch it then. We could have just watched an episode, but instead we were just like looking at the preview trying to decide if they're actually using like a light bulb to cook their food.
I sort of feel like, so Trixie Mattel on her YouTube channel has done like a whole series of like buying old Easy Bake Ovens and trying to make stuff, and I think they just kind of
Stole it?
that.
Okay.
Not that I'm saying Trixie Mattel invented the Easy Bake Oven, but I think those videos got a lot of views.
And then they kind of monopolized on that. Interesting. Yeah. See, I was trying to decide without actually having to invest any time in watching the show whether it was actually an Easy Bake Oven competition show or if they were just using like stuff that is like easy, like easy meals. You know, like I don't know, a box, whatever.
Lean cuisine.
like elevating a lean cuisine.
Who can make the best lean cuisine? Oh, only in the United States.
It was just like one of those moments where, like, remember when our parents got us a light bulb and we cooked cakes with it?
It's not as funny as the fucking creepy crawlers
That's
oven.
True. That's
which
true.
is literally, they had to stop selling that because that goo is so toxic. It was literally giving your children, which we had one, mom and dad. My brother loved that thing like nothing else. You took toxic plastic goo, you poured it in a metal pan, you put it in over a light bulb until it got hot enough to cook plastic, and yeah, they had to stop selling it because of all the horrible fumes.
Toxic fumes.
Yeah, my brother loved making me cute little like polka dotted purple bugs and stuff.
Creepy crawlers, yes.
I think I have one in my garage, and I was like, oh, my brother found it at a thrift store, and I was like, oh, we can make the bugs again, and it's like, no, because you can fucking not buy that goo. It's like banned by whoever. The government will like come to your house and confiscate it if you get the goo.
Confiscate your creepy crawler oven.
Yeah, they're like, absolutely not. This is a toxic waste hazard.
Excuse me, ma'am. We got a tip that you had a creepy crawler oven in here.
There was a creepy crawler cartoon, and on the cartoon they literally used the oven. That's how, like, just an ad. It was like, how will we make things to save the day? I know! The creepy crawler oven! Amazing. Oh, memories.
Incredible.
All right, I think that wraps it up for today. Everyone, don't use that creepy crawler oven. It's going to give you cancer.
You're going to become overwhelmed by the fumes.
Yeah. You will get amnesia like Gigi.
Oh, God.
Maybe that.
You'll wake up in a park with 36 lipsticks.
Maybe that's what happened. I bet they never looked into it.
Maybe she was using a creepy crawler oven.
I still want to know.
Woke up in New Orleans.
I was still, yeah, from Delaware, wherever she was from. I still want to know how she ended up there.
That's wild.
Oh, poor Belinda.
Damn.
Poor Belinda and her mental health issues.
Yeah.
I hope that got worked out. Anyway. Wow. Okay, so you're downloading Repod. You're trying to get us to number one. Please.
Do it.
Think how funny that will be if we are the number one podcast on something. Think about it. Remember when we were like 21 in Finland or something? Even that was funny.
Extremely. One of the funniest things that's happened to
us. Anything else?
Patreon. I mean, what else?
Give us money.
Yeah, give us some money on Patreon, especially if you want to hear our thoughts about the new reboot episodes. We're going to have thoughts, I'm sure.
Our latest episode was about the worst episode of Bones.
Which was bad.
It was
not
bad.
Kind of like in the way we expected. It was more just like very offensive.
I do keep thinking about how bad it is. It's like burned into my mind now.
I mean, yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes, whoever goes on there to rate things was not wrong.
It is real bad.
Extremely bad. And we talked about it on Patreon. So if you give us $1, you're going to be able to hear about it.
Okay. Oh, also, for Black Friday, we'll do a merch sale. And that can just start whenever this episode drops.
Okay.
And you can get 20% off with the code TRAINS. Why? Because we're into trains now.
We love trains.
We love trains. So put that in to get 20% off t-shirts and stuff for the rest of November.
And you can go to perhapsitsyou.com/merch, right?
Look, go to perhapsitsyou.com, click on merch, and it'll be there.
Maybe it's spelled wrong. We don't know.
Yeah. Also, spelling is not for me.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
No, I don't think I will.
I meant they'll get to our website. Not that you'll get better at spelling.
No, because that ship is
We can't
sailed.
count on that.
That ship is long gone.
Yeah, I don't know. Follow us on the social medias. We'll be on Twitter until the ship finally goes down.
I'm having a great time watching that burn. So
we're on the deck of the Titanic playing our violins.
Yeah.
We're going down with the ship. So yeah, at Perhaps It's You. We're on Instagram too.
I have actually been updating that lately for once.
You can join our Facebook group. Facebook, as far as I can tell, isn't sinking. Well, I mean,
it
already
kind of did. It's like
slowly.
half underwater.
It's going down, but slower, and so we have
the group
a space.
Is fun.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, the groups are fun. We're still in there, so you can go in there and share your thoughts. If you clip a repod clip, I don't know if you could share it in a Facebook group, but do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, your favorite moment from this episode. Let us know.
Is that it?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's just go.
All right, we're going to eat some more of these
Yeah,
cherry
we got candies
Hershey's
to eat.
Kisses.
We got to go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Keep barking.